So everyone, this is not exactly the most fun video for me to make, and I think the only real way to start it off is I'm gonna tell you guys a story of what happened to me buying my BMW M5. So let's go back a little bit and discuss what was happening, what was my thought process, and why I picked the BMW M5 that I actually went ahead and bought. So as you guys know, I did a whole video recently talking about what an experience it was to buy the M5 and stuff, but as with a lot of social media, there's a lot more behind the scenes that you can just straight away show off on the videos and stuff. So this was one of those moments. I don't know, I think the title of this video is did I get scammed, or it might be like, you know, something to do with being scammed. Maybe scammed is not the correct word to use for it, but I'd like to know all your thoughts on what actually happened with this whole situation. As you guys know, I had my Lexus GS430 and I actually had that car for a while. It was over a year, and that's quite a long time for me to have as a daily driver and stuff, but it was starting to, you know, I kind of knew that I needed to spend some money on it or look at selling it and going in a new direction, and that's kind of what I was leaning towards. Cars that were really on the horizon for me were the E63 or the BMW M5, and I wanted to move the channel in a direction that was something a bit different as well. It was another element of something that I could add. You know, I've had a lot of used cars where I've done the repairs, I've done this, I've done that, and that was kind of the main focus behind the content. But getting something newer, getting something kind of like basically a daily beast of a car that I could build or enjoy and do all these things with, that was like my vision for what I wanted to do. But what ended up happening was I kind of fell into a trap.
It's a trap!
So the car that I found online, there was two cars that I saw. There was a local BMW M5 that was a Sytner BMW in Oldbury, and then there was another one that had a really nice spec and it was actually cheaper up in Sheffield. So I spoke to the guys in Oldbury and I said, can I come and have a look at the M5? But there's another one that I might want to discuss as well. I called the showroom up in Sheffield because when I spoke to the finance company, they were like, it might be a good idea to put the £99 down online, so then, you know, nobody can buy the car as you're trying to look at it. So I was like, okay, that's fine, I'll go ahead with doing that. I went ahead with paying the £99, told the dealership in Oldbury, the dealership in Sheffield called up being like, hey, we've gotten this, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, you know what, I really like the car, I like the way everything looks, can you send me a video over of it? They were like, yeah, happy days. As I arrived in Oldbury, I ended up looking around the other M5 and I'm like, you know what, it's an amazing car, but it was a white M5 and I wasn't really feeling it, and the spec wasn't there. It didn't have the adaptive cruise control, and I was like, you know what, I love the car so much, but I need that as a spec. Forget about the Harman Kardon sound system and the Bowser Wilks sound system. I needed the adaptive cruise control. I just felt like for the way I would use the car, it's going to make a big difference. You know, I sat with them, I looked around the car, I discussed everything, and then I kept having the Sheffield branch calling me, being like, you know, what's going on? And I'm here in the Oldbury branch, and then they had to basically communicate between themselves who I'm buying the car from. And I was like, well, you know, I'm here, and as a customer, I'm happy to just buy it from here. It's a local branch to me. I don't want to have to go all the way up to Sheffield to pick the car, etc. So, yeah, that's kind of where that was at the time. And I was like, you know, I've seen the video, everything looks good with the car, and I'm happy to go ahead with it. I'm happy to purchase it through Oldbury. Can we please look at setting everything in place? Next thing you know, I'm being pushed to get the BMW finance. So I'm literally having a mini panic attack at the time because I'm on my own. This is my first big purchase like this, and I'm having to decide between Oracle Finance, who I'd basically already agreed the deal with, and then BMW was saying, well, listen, we can give you a slightly better deal.
Do it. Do it.
and you know it'll be quick, it'll be snappy, you'll get everything done. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stick with Oracle. I felt like having an external company back me would be better than just BMW, and also that was actually a real good blessing in disguise that I did that. They were okay with it then, and then it was like, okay, right, let's finalize everything, let's get the car over. So I was like, cool, happy days. It was a bank holiday weekend from what I remember, so I had to wait an extra day. They got the MOT done. Nobody really filled me in on anything with the car and any potential issues or anything that I should be aware of. They got the MOT done, and I was like, okay, cool. Coming up on Tuesday, and I'm gonna come and collect the car. Tuesday comes, we go sit down. I see the car as you guys saw in the clip, and I'm like, yep, that's the car. Let's go sort out the finance and everything like that. Cool. Go in, sit down, do all the finances, paying for the car, all these other things. Everything's done and dusted now. Time to look around the car. Car's brought out to the front as I'm doing the paperwork. So now I'm having a look around the car and I'm like, whoa, there's a few issues here. Like, what's going on? The door, the seat, the other door, the trim panels. I was like, this is a bit, I wasn't told about any of this. The sales rep, he was just like, you know what, we'll sort it out. Don't worry about it. We went out for the drive. We got some fuel. Obviously, I'd already driven the M5 by that point quite recently, so I knew what I was roughly getting into, so he didn't need to go around everything with me. It came up, I was like, okay, listen, you know what, I'll be in touch with you soon, and we'll look at setting everything up to get these things fixed. That same night, I find quite a few more issues. The car's brakes squeal, few cracks in the display on the heater control touchscreen bit. The sound system had a really crazy rattle, and the air conditioning, whenever you turned it on, it would literally like just crackle and pop behind the dashboard. I turn up like all I want to do is burn it up like this. Oh my gosh. For the first time I've actually been able to record it. I was like, these things aren't right. And because of the other work that I've got that you guys are going to be fixing for me, I was like, can you sort this all out at the same time? And this dragged on. This dragged on way longer than it needed to. They had me waiting for 2 weeks. 2 weeks before they even said about booking me in. I literally just had nothing proper, fundamental to say, yeah, we're going to get this sorted, we're going to get that sorted, we'll look at booking you in. It was just powering me off, is the best way to put it. The sales rep was like, I need to get approval from the management, but I'm like, I'm buying a car that's sold to me in a certain presentation, and it's definitely not that. So it doesn't matter what you think, it needs to get sorted.
Hi Tamim, it's here at BMW. Lovely speaking with you just now on the telephone. As promised, here is the video of potentially your new M5. I'll take you around the exterior of the car. I'll also take you to the interior and I'll show you the exact mileage and service history. Okay, so the exact mileage on the car is 31,724. I'm going to turn the engine on, so just bear with me, it might be quite loud. Okay, next service is due in April 2024. I'm just going to bob over to your service. So I'll show you the most important service was done, and that's the running in service, the first service obviously on the M product, and that was in May 2018. Service again at 14,000 miles in 2020, 21, 21 again, 22 and 23. I'll send the video over to you and I'll give you a call once you've watched it. Thank you so much again, and we'll speak soon. Bye, Tamim.
Eventually I was able to get booked in, because by that point I'd already been basically doing Oracle's head in, because I was just like, you know what, I'm not happy that they're not sorting this stuff out, blah blah blah. What grounds do I have? They were like, just keep calling, keep calling, keep calling. You know what, call the used car sales manager and speak to them. I called up, boom, I don't get a call from the used car sales manager, I get a call from the sales assistant that originally helped me with the car. I was like, oh, you should have called me. And I was like, oh, I've been messaging you, you haven't replied. And it was like, oh, you know, I don't get to see my messages, etc. But you know, you should have just called me. And I was like, well, okay, whatever. When can you get me booked in? And he gave me a date. It was again another couple of weeks away. So I was like, okay, you know what? Time's kind of becoming a crunch right now. Let's just get it booked in. I want to get things done, because I know really with a lot of cars you have a 30-day window with it all. This is my loan car for the day. Oh wow, I'm actually unlocked as I'm walking up to it, so that was cool. I had no idea what was going on with the screen then, but that was buggy and glitchy. So what's the lowdown? Well, let me turn that volume off. Basically I am bringing back my M5 because it needs a couple of things looking at. So I basically was just like, listen guys, I'd rather have these things looked at ASAP. So dropped it off with them. There's a few things that I need them to look at. These were things that weren't disclosed to me prior to collection and actually buying the car. So by the point in which I got booked in, now it was basically right at the end of the 30 days. And the simple process is normally within the 30 days. It's quick, easy turnaround. They looked at the car and they fixed the screen cracks. They put in a new screen that was under warranty. They couldn't find the noise before the speakers crackling like that. Really annoyingly, the assistant in the technician team, she was like, oh, maybe it's just a song, maybe it's just a song. And I'm like, no, this is not the song, it is the sound system. I have proof of that because I've sat in another car with the Bowers & Wilkes sound system and it did not make any of that noise with the exact same songs. So it's not the song. And I kept saying, look, it sounds like something's vibrating either in the door or in the underneath the seat. There's some kind of an issue here. And they were like, okay, fine, cool, whatever, we'll look into it. But whilst they're kind of talking a bit more about that, I sat down with the used car sales manager and I was just like, listen, this is not right. I've looked into things and I know my rights right now, and this isn't correct as to what's being dealt with for me. And she had the cheek, the nerve to turn around to me, literally sits back into her seat smug and goes, oh, so what are your rights? I was furious at that point. I didn't show it, but I was just like, that was cheeky. That was a very condescending way of speaking to a customer. A customer who's basically spending 50 grand with you. When that happened, it kind of threw me off a little bit and I had to like just take a breather and just readjust my mindset, because I was just like, I was not expecting to speak to a manager who would speak to me so rudely. I went through things and I explained, look, I brought a car from BMW approved and Sytner because I thought that the customer service and the care and the way the car would be shown and given to me would be as I would have intended it to be. If I had seen the car with the scratches, if I had seen the car with the wear on the driver's seat and stuff like that, that's one thing. You know what? Before I go into it too much, I'm going to show you a little clip of me right when I'm about to give the car back. I'm very annoyed at this point, but yeah, just excuse that and just watch this. So unfortunately, the moment has come when I'm returning M5 because of the really incompetent behavior from Sytner in Oldbury and Sytner in Sheffield. So really disappointed by this, but let me show you guys what the damages were. So here is the first set of damages. Now, again, these are all scuffs that are into the actual carbon fiber weave. Now, these are not very common because these are only pretty much available on the M5s. There's another scratch there. These are all the other scratches. Passenger seats, somewhat okay condition. Not really got a problem there. Those scratches are to the point where you can literally see them all the way from here, and that's on a phone camera. Look at all of those damages there. Right. There's also these damages here. There's a damage into the actual ambient lighting for this car. Along with that, that is a huge amount of wear on the seat bolster. So not cool. Other than that, interior wise, it's somewhat in good condition. There is a massive rattling noise that happens with the bass on this car, and there's a cracking noise that happens from the fan. There's this stone chip from before. There was this scratch. Where is it? There. That's not a scratch, I think that's just that. And there was also this scratch down here. Again, all of this unknown to me, prior collection. I think there's a few stone chips and stuff on the bumper, but I can't remember those fully now. The car's given to me in a state right now where they didn't show me any of the damages. These are damages that would have made me not buy this car. And that's the important thing. If there are things hidden from you that are enough to make you not want to buy that car, then you have grounds to reject that car. It is not my fault that you took a month to get me booked in, to actually take my conversation seriously. That's down to you guys. It's not my fault. So I explained all of this to them, and she said, let me get back to you. There's limited margins in the cars that we have, and because of the car, there's again limited margins. I need to see what I can do. I was like, okay. Luckily, my cousin Hassan, he was there, and he said, what if what you can do isn't what he wants? Is he okay to reject the car? She said, that's fine. Cool. So then what happens is they come back to me. I'm looking around the car. I noticed, like, for some reason there's tape on the side mirror, like residue and stuff. And I'm like, what's going on here? They said, oh no, that must have been there from... I was like, no, that was not there from before. But okay, whatever. I had to show them the speaker noise. They heard it because they said they couldn't come through on their bass tests and stuff. But I was like, no, you can hear it now. So then the sales manager comes back out to me and says, listen, what we can do for you is we can give you £500 back. We can fix the driver's door, which is going to cost them £500 for that trim piece. And that's all that they can do in terms of fixing the car. The other passenger door, that would need to be changed. The driver's seat, the bolster's completely worn, that would need to be repaired. None of that would be done. Now, because it's an M5, you couldn't also find a used panel very easily. There are different panels on this car than the normal 5 Series comes with, the carbon fiber effect. So unless I got another one and wrapped all of them, but then the wrap, everything like that, because of the texture, it would never look exactly the same on all the doors. So at this point, I was very disappointed, very disheartened. And I just said to them, you know what? Can I go home and think about it? And she said, you know what? Take the night, go home, think about it. I was like, yeah, I want to speak to my wife. I just want to, I don't want to act in haste. I would rather talk about it and, just calm myself, make sure I'm thinking with a level head. and I'm not just reacting and blah blah blah. Came home, thought about it, and I was like, it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. Every one of my friends that have seen the car since were like, that's a lot of bolster wear for a 30,000 mile car. One of my friends, Omar, he basically said, because he's got a 5 Series, and was like, that damage on the door is probably from someone taking off the seat belt buckle and it's just flung and hit the door. It's happened on his 5 Series and stuff. These were still not issues being resolved. They even said that the brake squeal was normal, and I showed them the video from BMW's YouTube channel themselves, where it shows that it's only for when it's wet and you're driving the car in the dry and it's cooling. It's like it's getting rid of the residue. But what my car was doing was, even if it was hot and there's no rain, I've not washed the car, no nothing, coming to a slow stop, you'd hear the creaking. It wasn't always there, but it was there randomly, and I managed to get it on camera. But they didn't trust me or give me that respect of trusting me over that issue. They just flat out were like, no, that's normal. I was like, no, it's not. Next day comes, I'm messaging them all, I want to return the car. Oh, whoa, but we offered you £500 or fixing the driver's door. And I was like, it's not enough, I want to return the car. I got a call from one of the bit more senior managers, and he was just like, well, I only got told about the driver's door. And I was like, no, look at all these other issues. None of this was disclosed to me. And he was like, well, I'll fix it all. And I was like, well, I don't care about you fixing it all now. It's too late. I want to reject the car. He said, all right, well, now it's over 30 days. And I was like, that's because of you guys, not because of me. He even said, oh, it's fine. You know what? You can return the car and stuff. Oh, Oracle have the car on finance, don't they? And I was like, yeah. And he was just like, oh, well, they might have financial interest in keeping the car. And I was like, doesn't matter. I don't want this car anymore. That senior manager was just like, okay, that's fine, blah blah blah. Annoyingly, I did not record these calls because that conversation in the showroom, because that would have made things clear cut. As soon as I said to them, I'm rejecting it, you already said it, you already said it, you already said it. So now I'm having to say my word as much as value as it can hold and say, this is what happened. This is why I need to reject the car. And you guys have already said it's okay to. I'm glad that my cousin was there that day, because he was another witness to it. The sales rep was there that day. He was another witness to it. They said that I could return the car in person. And then even on the phone when that senior manager called, I mentioned it to him. My wife was sat next to me. She even heard how he said, yeah, you can look at rejecting the car, but then gave the whole thing about Oracle, finance, blah, 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 whatever, I don't care. So now it became a little bit of a fight to rejecting the car and what my grounds were and this and that. And I had to log a complaint with BMW UK, and they were like, listen, it's not something to do with us, because obviously Sytner is a brand of its own. And I understand that and respect that, but this brand is kind of hurting your reputation by their lack of customer service. Maybe not Sytner in general, but Oldbury and Sheffield, they weren't going about things the right way. That's not how you sell a car. That's not how you sell, in essence, a premium car. I don't care if it's a little bit older of an M5. It's a 2018 model year, whatever. It's an M5. This is your flagship car. Literally before this was before the M8 came out, so this was literally the pinnacle BMW out at the time. The 7 Series was the luxury side, but this was the performance beast. I'm going to show you guys what exactly happened on the emails and the breakdown I gave. So let me show you guys that. So here is basically the email chain from it all. Now, I originally sent an email on the 2nd of June confirming that I wanted to return the car, and they actually didn't accept anything until the 7th of June to say, yeah, we can do a direct purchase back, etc, etc. And I had until the 12th to return the car. But this is the part that I wanted to kind of show you all. Right here, this email from me to everyone, this is where I give a full breakdown of it all. 27th of April, the viewing. 2nd of May, collection. 3rd of May, all about the issues. 5th of May, sent a chaser. 6th of May, I got a reply back about the £99 from Sheffield, but nothing about correcting the car. 11th of May is sent as a chaser, no action yet from the dealership. 15th of May, I had to call to speak to a manager and then got a call back to say that they can urgently book me in. But the earliest date was the 30th of May. 30th May, I dropped the car off. 2nd of June was basically when we've come back in, we've gone about everything, not able to fix it, and I even had to pay £15 to borrow a car, which is kind of really annoying and funny. 3rd of June, I confirmed that I wanted to return the car, and basically only on the 7th of June were they able to accept that they would take the car back. And this is the fun part, where I said no grounds of a rejection. So this is the part where I said no grounds for a rejection. Well, Sytner missold me the car. They didn't present anything in the pictures or video via distance selling, which I was only updated on collection. And even then, no mention of the car's imperfections even when I turned up. Only after I noticed it all were we able to discuss things. False promises on the repairs on the collection day to be assured they will get sorted, and as they say, not to worry. False promises afterwards on what can be done. False promises on affordability for work done by the dealership would honour, and said it was out of budget to do more, which is funny because when the senior manager called up, he said he'll repair everything. So I wonder how the budget became available then. So these are the things that were fixed and weren't fixed. The crack on the climate control screen, mechanical fault, that was fixed. Noise from the sound system, mechanical fault, not fixed. Noise from the sound system, that is a mechanical fault and that's not been fixed. The reason why I'm mentioning mechanical faults here is earlier on from the senior manager, he basically said only mechanical faults are reasons why we could reject a car. The noises from the air conditioning, that's a mechanical fault, not fixed. The braking noise, again, that is not as per the BMW video on the YouTube channel. The noise is only for where the water is and stuff like that. I guess the bit that really kind of annoyed me is the fact that I've had to live with the car purely because they weren't letting me do anything about returning it or fixing it or anything like that. And they were trying to say to me that, oh, I've had the car for this long, so even if I have any interest being charged on the finance, then that's on me and not down to them. So they didn't want to take this down as a rejection. They wanted to just do it as a buyback, which meant I would have negative implications financially on the whole scenario. What do you all think about the situation? Do you think my title's right? Was I basically trying to be scammed and hustled into a car that was not fit for the price? Or am I just really badly complaining about really poor customer service? I'd love to know your thoughts on this all, but I do want to end this video on a good note. So for that, I just want to say thank you all for listening, allowing me to vent this. The new car is here, so I'm really excited to share it in the near future. There's a lot of cool things that I'm gonna be doing with it. Yeah, I'm just excited to share this, and actually I've got really good news about what happened with the new car and the whole story behind that. So yeah, that's something that I'm gonna delve into in the near future. So be sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and leave the comments down below as to what you think about the situation. And yeah, speak to you guys then. Peace out. Bye.